Playing Burnout 2 all these years later is absolutely delightful. Almost a quarter century after its release on the PlayStation 2, the big black brick and the little purple lunchbox. It's the antithesis of slow, grindy modern game design and boring, stupefying progression systems that give you little or no reason to keep playing, so the amazing community has to do all the work to keep you engaged. What's that doing up there? And frankly, I was relieved to go back to it and find out it is still fucking great, because I've worshipped this game when I was a kid. And it doesn't always go that way. I loved the Mission Impossible game on the Nintendo 64. I replayed that thing recently and oh boy. Nagano Winter Olympics still holds up. I am forever, however, unable to figure out the aerial skiing controls. I always fell on my butt as a kid and I'm still falling on my butt all these years later. If anyone knows how to complete these events, please let me know in the comments. Memories. What was I talking about? Oh, Burnout 2! This is still basically a perfect arcade racing game. Almost. There's a couple of annoying things. Let's find out more about that first. Here's a montage. Let's go. It's a sequel, dude. The first thing to note about Burnout 2 is it is in fact not Burnout 1. Don't worry, I know I'm still trying to wrap my head around this concept as well. There's a 2 on this one. There's not a 2 on that one. There's Burnout 1, Burnout 2. I like Burnout 1. It's charmingly simple and it lays the foundations for the fast as fuck driving and big crashes that would make this series famous. But when you go back to this first entry now, it feels very prototypey. No, not like that prototypey, but to be fair, Burnout 1 would be better if you could eat the cars around you and take on their powers. No, prototypey, like, it feels pretty bare bones. It's a proof of concept.
Oh, okay.
The car selection is limited, the track variety is a bit crap, and the event selection is basically, hey, would you like to do a race on this track you've already been on a million times, in this car you've already driven 1,000 times, but this time do it in reverse? But I still like it a lot. It's fast and chaotic. It still looks pretty good for the time it came out, and most importantly, it's FUN fun to play. I know, what a concept. But our subject for today's interrogation, Mr. Burnout 2, if that is indeed his real name, takes Burnout 1's solid foundation and goes fucking crazy fleshing everything out into a really meaty, nice package. Probably need to rephrase that. With way more cars, way more track variety, different types of events, and also the best menu music of all time that I tried and failed to replicate on the piano in the montage you saw earlier. But before I get more into the nitty-gritty details of Burnout 2, I should probably explain how all this Burnout thing works, just in case you don't know, so here we go. Burnout 2 School. So the first thing you're gonna notice about Burnout 2 is it's a racing game, and ipso facto, you're gonna wanna go fast. Now, in order to go the most fast, you got to build up your boost bar down here in the corner, so you can achieve a burnout, which is also the name of the game. Yeah. In order to build up your boost bar, you're gonna wanna drive into oncoming traffic as often as humanly possible, weaving in between the traffic and whatnot. Now, of course, you can't stay over here in the correct lane, but ultimately, this is gonna make you feel like a bit of a pussy. Or go get yourself back over into the oncoming lane, not only to maximize the amount of boost you're getting, but also to protect that fragile ego. Sure, you might go headfirst into a bus, but at least you died like a hero instead of living like a fucking coward. Other things to do to get your boost is catch some air, drift around some corners, and also get through a whole lap without crashing if you can. All these things gonna build your boost bar and give you a chance of going real fucking fast. Now, if you are able to not crash and keep your boost going, you can build up these enormous burnout chains, which are very satisfying. Okay, that's the basic Burnout formula. Back to your regular viewing. Anyway, cars. Burnout 2 has heaps of them. It doesn't feel like it at first. You've just got your basic sports cars, pickup trucks, or utes if you're from Australia like me. And hatchbacks, like at first you look at this car lineup and go, this is identical to the first game. What the fuckity fuck? But then you're constantly unlocking more cars as you go through the events. And by the time you're done, this roster is fleshed out with a good variety of vehicles, including my favorite, this little yellow number, which is fast as fuck and has really tight steering in a good way. Speaking of steering, all the cars control differently and have strengths and weaknesses, making them all worth checking out. Though having said that, for the later championships, you better be bringing something really goddamn fast if you're not going to get smoked.
As mentioned earlier, Burnout 2 is coming in hot with a really impressive variety of content. You've got your typical championships, get to the top of the leaderboard by the end of the final event. Then you got face-offs, which are essentially one-on-ones. You're racing for pinks, as the cool kids from Greece would say.
Pinks, you punk. Pink slips, ownership papers.
Beat the car and win it, kind of thing. Pursuit events put you in the shoes of the man. Take down the car before it gets to the finish line. These events are not my favorite, but more on that in a bit. And then you've got these long point-to-point races where they take some of the smaller tracks and stitch them together into one big boy, giving you this feeling that all of this is happening in one contiguous world. This is something developer Criterion would go on to do again, actually, in the fucking stupidly excellent Hall of Fame and Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. Well done, you good game developers. Because all of these events are centered around Burnout 2's sublime edge of your pants, going fast as hell, just somehow scraping past that bus gameplay. Even the not so great events at least get a passing mark because the driving feels so good. And impressively, this is a game where suddenly coming to a stop from driving feels very good also. Quash. Of course, Burnout 2 is the point at which the developers must have noticed that 90% of the people that played the first game were like, crashing the cars in this game is more fun than the racing. Because this is where we get the introduction of the series' now completely iconic crash mode. And it's the definition of a simple idea executed super brilliantly. Take a car, plonk it into a scenario with a bunch of traffic, and then drive said car into said traffic and see how much damage can be done insurance-wise. I never thought I'd be able to find a link between Burnout 2, Point of Impact, and Return of the Obra Dinn, but there you go.
The insurance industry.
Your car choice has a big impact on how these scenarios play out. Pick a car that's too fast, you might arrive at the intersection too early and miss everything and feel like a fucking idiot.
You stupid.
Or pick a car that's too light and you might go flying off into space instead of into the side of a bus. These choices, along with the crash scenarios themselves, turn these events into little puzzles to solve. Only puzzles where the solution is always to try to figure out how to get a bus to roll over onto its side.
What a concept.
Pretty much every time you finish an event, you're unlocking a new car or a new track. It gives you that just one more race and then suddenly it's 2 in the morning, oh fuck, kind of feeling. Really seems like when the developers made this game, they just wanted to give you more awesome shit to try, toys to play with. Having said that, and now it's time for me to play Devil's Advocate starring Al Pacino. Was that the name of that movie? I think so. Who fucking cares? This is the part of the video where I say Burnout 2 would be absolutely perfect in my eyes, if not for a couple of teensy tiny problems. So as much as I love the progression system in Burnout 2 Point of Impact, it does have one problem that is as hard to ignore as the fact that I really need a friggin' haircut. Will I get one? Maybe. If you want to unlock everything in this game, and if you're as OCD and nutso as I am, you definitely do, then you need to get a gold medal on every race. Now, please do note, I mean every individual race, not every championship. It doesn't matter if you finish in first place in the championship. If you didn't get a gold medal in every race inside that championship, you ain't unlocking all the bits and bobs, Todd. The big problem with this is you can't restart or retry a race mid-championship. Let's just say hypothetically you're in the last championship in this game, in the last race out of 7, on the last lap, on the last corner, in first place. Suddenly a car comes around the corner, you crash into it, the opponent behind you zooms past, takes first place, you come in second. Well, now you're gonna have to go all the way back to the very start of that championship and do all 7 races again and make sure you win every single one. It's pretty annoying. And no, I'm not going to emulate the game and import save states. Do I look like the kind of guy that knows how to do that without getting lots of viruses on my home computer? Also, as mentioned earlier, the pursuit events are kind of shitty, which is weird considering these guys went on to make Need for Speed Hot Pursuit.
I don't understand.
The biggest problem is that no matter how hard you hit the target car, you're only ever taking 1 block of health off the bar. The rubber banding is also fucking atrocious. Every time you score a hit, you see the target go whoop up the track. And hey, while I'm bitching, let's complain about something that's completely out of the developer's control. When I was a kid, I played this game on my GameCube. Cute little bricky boy. But this time around, I had an original Xbox copy and played via backwards compatibility on my 360. And just as I found with the original Forza Motorsport and the Project Gotham games, Microsoft just seems to be really fucking bad at getting racing games to run properly via backwards compatibility.
Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so fucked here.
The slowdown on some tracks, probably most disappointingly for me on my favorite, the airport at night in the rain. Speaking of night, the backwards compatibility does seem to have introduced one interesting new feature to the game. Sky Square. I'm guessing this is where the moon was originally. I don't know what Sky Square wants. All I know is Sky Square now rules over us all. All hail Sky Square. Ultimately though, none of that shit really matters because even with a few dud events thrown in and some frustration for completionist gamers, Burnout 2 is just fucking magnificent. I didn't even touch on how beautiful this game still is. I think it's one of those games that's just always gonna look amazing. It's so colorful and vibrant. The way the sun shines on the road is spectacular, and it's got some really impressive real-time reflections for the time that this thing released. And I don't know about anyone else, but I just love the way the sparks look in this game. They're so big and chunky. I'm a big Sparks fan. Let me know in the comments your favorite video game Sparks. That's not a weird request. Fuck, I didn't mention either that these tracks all have variable weather conditions, adding even more to the impressive variety. These unique locations can be raced around in the day, at night, in fog, rain, sometimes snow. I really think this is one of the all-time great leaps from a game 1 to a game 2. It's like Assassin's Creed 1 to Assassin's Creed 2. But that's about it from me in terms of Burnout 2 point of impact. I just fucking love this thing. I think I got it on eBay for like $12. So if you like racing games and you somehow never played this, I highly recommend it. It's also got really great local split screen, so if unlike me, you have friends to play with, it's a great time for that as well. Now, I'm definitely making it a mission of mine to talk about all of the Burnout games, so let me know in the comments which one is your favorite and which one you'd like to hear me ramble about next. In the meantime, video games are fucking great. I'm gonna go and play the Burnout 2 theme on piano again, maybe a little slower this time around. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.